All right, so here we are again. Gantar Enterprise. We're going to do the credibility as acid test, believe it or not. And we're just going to roll into this because we got a lot of information. I don't think we're even going to probably put this into two parts, might be even more. So off we go. So Joseph Gantar with Gantar Enterprise, the credibility acid test. So, in order to have this credibility, you have to have what's called integrity. So, integrity builds trust. So, a leader must have followers. That's quite inevitable. I mean, we talked about this in previous weeks, what's going to happen. So, the leader must have confidence. You cannot lead anybody if you don't have any confidence. So, if you're going to be thinking, okay, yeah, man, I'm going to take the corporate ladder and I'm just going to rip it up and I'm just going to go nonstop to the top because I know what I'm going to be doing. Reality is, you're probably in your bathroom in the shower thinking this, or you're probably in your bed mustering up some kind of master scheme. It's the biggest epic disaster if you think you're going to try and climb a corporate ladder, any type of organization or hierarchy structure, if you do not have the confidence to walk that talk. It's just people are going to find you out and you're going to be done in a heartbeat. So, therefore, the highest quality for a leader is unquestionably integrity. Well, what does that look like? Well, we're going to slowly unpack this so-called unknown, if you want to call it that, in this segment right here. So, but I'll give you a quick synopsis. It's basically doing the right thing when nobody's looking. When nobody's around, you're still doing the right thing. That's what it's all about. So those around you find you phony, lacking forthright integrity, you will fail, or he or she will fail. There's no questions about it. As soon as you start to actually see, here's the thing, it doesn't matter if your organization's 1 or 100. If you lack integrity, the lack of I don't even want to say production, but what it could produce, how it could serve, how it can actually roll out to people's lives will literally fall and rise on the leader's character and integrity. You can't even dispute that. So why do I have this picture up here? It's basically an older woman trying to embark on a younger woman's sense of integrity, sense of life experience, and that's how we're rolling this out tonight. It's a very tough one. It has to be dealt with. It has to be discussed. For some strange reason, I was reading this earlier in the week about this topic, and I'm like, this is what I'm going to be speaking about Sunday night. So the techniques and actions, the teachings and actions must line up together. So if you do not act and walk to the same thing, it means nothing. Your actions and your words must line up. They have to line up. The first greatest impact is then integrity and high purpose. So what does this mean, high purpose? What it basically means is that you are going to basically put yourself on the sword. I'm not saying physically put yourself on the sword. What I'm saying is that you're actually going to say, you know what? If it's for the better or good, I'm just going to admit that I'm wrong, even though I'm right. Because you know what it's coming down to? Who can take the high road? We talked about this in previous discussions or in segments of, these talks. What that's all about. What it all comes down to is if you want to have high purpose, you got to have high standards of integrity. End of discussion. So integrity has a high influence value, but how does this work? The reality is that this does work from the inside out. So starting from character of the person who started the organization. So what I mean from the inside out is basically it doesn't matter the size of the organization again. However, what that person actually has within their being as far as character and integrity doesn't matter if they earned it, they bought it, they stole it, they did whatever. That person's character and integrity reaches out right through the whole organization or that hierarchy or company or group of individuals. It doesn't matter whether they wanted to or not. It is going to just go like that. End of discussion. So minds are changed through observation, not through argument. So here's the thing. If you want to change someone's mind, you have to let them observe exactly what it is that you're trying to portray. But at the same time, you got to be very careful because if that message could be negative or positive, it can have extremely negative or positive implications upon that organization's culture. So if you have petty theft, if you got people leaving early, guess what? You magnify that over the course of however much time, and it doesn't need to be much as far as numbers, but it also could be as much in much as in value to whatever that culture of the organization or that group or that company might be. So you have to be able to understand and vividly execute these types of things that are actually going to be one of those, hey, we got to nip this right now. It's the small things that are going to take you out, not the big things. So if you think you're going to keep on getting away with the small things, eventually you're going to get loose, you're going to mess up, and what's going to happen is it's all going to fall onto that one person. Guaranteed. Every single time. I've seen it time and time and again. I've been in a certain industry for over 20 years. I got 4 different companies. I'm telling you, that's the way how this is going to work, and that's the way how it always has worked, and that's how it will continue to work every single time. Integrity facilitates high standards. And you're like, what is this guy talking about? Well, to become a leader is one thing, but to live as a leader, it's another, because you have to live the life of a higher standard, of a higher level of integrity, of a higher level of a character than of those that you are leading. Because it is your standard that they're going to continue to try and reach out to. If you don't want to reach out to that, then guess what? It's not going to work out for you. You're literally just going to collapse and fall. End of story. Because if that person who's at the top does not continue to develop and grow from the inside to manifest it outside of their well-being, that company is going to stagnate, that company is going to fall, and it's just going to completely disintegrate. And then they're going to close their doors, and people are going to lose their jobs. And people are like, I don't know what happened. Well, I'm going to tell you, this is exactly how it happened. End of story. Many followers desire to be the leader, but cannot live to the responsibilities of a leader, never mind great leaders. So what I'm basically saying is those that want to try and be that person, I want to be, this, and that. I got to hand it to you. Can you handle the accountability that is going to be focused on you if things go sideways? Are you going to be able to handle the things that are going to come down to hold you accountable for the actions that that you think are right, or that you think that that's the way it's going to be done? Are you going to be able to hold your head up high and say, I made the right choice? More often than not, I'm not even going to say statistic, but I'll say it's highly in favor of those that want to actually seek out the position will fall every time. That's a guarantee. You want to know why? Because their heart's not in the right place. Exactly. So as a leader, there may be things to be considered. Responsibilities for their followers, one of the highest non-negotiables. So a leader cannot compromise in essentially, I'm not responsible for you guys. I don't know what happened. They just kind of did whatever they want. No, that's the leader's responsibility. That's the leader, how he was put there. And you're responsible for those followers. Though you're responsible for that crew, you're responsible for that group of guys, you're responsible for that number of people in that department. It doesn't matter. The leader is responsible and is going to be held accountable if that organization actually has any standards. I don't care about policies and procedures. It's a joke talking about people's integrity and if they can do the right thing when nobody's looking. So never forget, every opportunity is an obligation and every passion is a duty. Yeah, exactly. Read that one again. Never forget, every opportunity is an obligation and every passion is a duty. Well, what does this mean? Every opportunity, it is the leader's obligation to at least assess it. It is the leader's obligation to at least evaluate it and pursue it and strongly consider, is this actually going to be for the well-being of those that I am responsible for? And every passion is a duty. That means it is the duty of the leader to continue to roll out the passion, to have the culture, to have that drive, to continue to push out things over and over and over again. Not the same, but to deliver the high charismatic, enthusiastic culture that is required in order for a leader to succeed and to be able to achieve the results that they need to achieve in order to grow that, you fill in the blank, organization, group, the hierarchy, whatever you're part of. You got to be able to do these things. Most importantly, as you climb the ranks, your rights are removed and your responsibilities drastically increase. So what does this mean? So you think you got your rights. Well, at the bottom, I got all these rights. I got the right to do this. I got the right to do that. I got it. Okay. Good on you. But if you want to climb up, no, your right is removed because you're at the top. You're now responsible for everybody coming down. So you're me, my right, gone. You're now obligated to those that you are responsible for. So put your self agenda and your whatever motives to the side and stop being a me guy and line it up and put up or shut up because you're responsible for those that are underneath you. That is going to be your, basically, whatever it might be, position, occupation, career, whatever, on the line, if you're not going to be accountable and responsible for those that are below you. That's why your rights are removed when you're at the top. And that's why your responsibilities drastically increase. There's no questions about that. I got a little ramped up there, and I'm proud of it. However, guess what? Here we are next week, part 2 of the credibility acid test. We're going to be back at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern time. And so until then, just remember, work hard and stay humble.